So over here I brought some community games where the underdogs managed to overtake some amazing players who are way over their elo rating. And as a treat at the end I will even showcase one of the first 3v3 test battles on Lines of Battle. In the first game, we have the number 1 player ECU fighting against someone who is 500 under his elo rating. That is a massive difference. Now you can probably guess which side ECU plays as, but I am not going to reveal that until the very end. So pay attention to how each side plays. We see that while Red got a very strong position, on a very amazing map that suits him perfectly. Blue seems to want to have the battle on the left flank because Blue is not stupid. Blue knows how amazing this position is for Red. Blue wants to force Red to fight on the left flank, where Blue could hide behind these hills, completely isolated from Red's artillery. And so for the next few turns, we will see Blue trying to move towards left flank, while Red sets up into a position that is comfortable for their usual tactics. And let's just see the players move their units. Now at this point it appears to be that Blue may have committed for an assault against Red, and as we play the game it becomes clearer that Blue does intend to storm Red's fortress. Look at the early exchanges. Okay, just freeze the time here and look at the setup of each armies. First of all, on the right flank, Red has a quality advantage, but Blue has a very massive quantity difference. Now Blue's center is looking pretty strong with guards standing in defense for the artilleries, while actually Red has inferior quality troops on defense of their artilleries. They only have line infantry against the guards. So at this place, Blue actually has some quality advantage over Red. They also have the better kind of artillery, the Hobbitzen. But look at the left flank, and at the same time, Red actually has a pretty developed left flank compared to Blue's. They have light infantry, they have the cavalry that is about to flank Blue. And if I play the time, we can see how Red immediately grabs the chance to abuse this power difference on the left, and they will charge straight at Blue's Hobbitzen. And while Blue tries to overwhelm Red on the right, Red manages to destroy one of Blue's Hobbitzen. And look, Red doesn't really want to pick a fight on the right because they fear that they are outnumbered there. So Red delays on the right while they take their chance on the left. And fairly enough, Red managed to destroy one of the Hobbitzens, but they also lose their Lancer, which is a fair trade-off. And now they mobilize their heavy cavalry, and now with the help of the heavy cavalry they actually try to force Blue's light cavalry to relocate on the map somewhere else. Look at that. And now that Blue managed to arrive on the left flank, they will seek to abuse the fact that how weakened Red's infantry had become. Look, they charge forward, hoping to take Red out, but Red's artillery comes in for the clutch, and they weaken Blue's advance enough so that Blue would lose confidence and withdraw from the fight. At the same time, see how Blue has abandoned their center. That is a very odd move, but I believe that Blue was thinking that Red's infantry is pinned on the right flank. Red's infantry is also pinned on the left flank. So they can't really do anything if he just moves out of the center. And he may have been right. As you see, Blue hopes to disable this horse artillery, perhaps even for forever if they get a chance, while also trying to destroy some of these line infantry units that are very weak on the center. And as the game plays out, Blue is actually forced to withdraw once again due to the proximity to Red's artillery. Artillery is very strong at close ranges, and Blue just didn't bring enough men to overcome that modifier. And now the game gets very crazy with Red managing to rout some of blue's units on the right, while red is also chasing after blue on the left. Now in a way, blue have picked a battle on the flanks, but red had the higher quality and now they are winning. Look, blue hopes to overwhelm red in some parts, such as over here, but red is able to bring reinforcements to other parts and they are winning over there. And on the left flank, red is also winning against blue. Look. At this point, red is favored to win the battle. I don't have to like hyper analyze any moves at this point because red is just winning. You can clearly see that even though that blue's cavalry is still very active on the outskirts of the battle. Look, they are chasing down this cavalry unit, they are also like chasing down this heavy cavalry unit. But blue is losing where it matters the most, in the center. The center which has all of blue's amazing artillery. Losing them would lose the battle for sure. But look, there is nothing that they can do. They get sandwiched in between red's flanks. And just like that, ECU playing as blue resigned, losing almost 40 elo, an astonishing number to Frederick. Now actually, neither side played this game badly, I would say. Both of them seem to made principled moves, and they even had great ideas, but ECU was just simply not on his top performance this day. Now in the second battle, we have two more players, and this time the elo difference is only 400 elo, but in some ways it might be a more interesting fight. As we set the time, we can see how blue seems to have a cavalry and infantry only build, so without any artilleries, while red likes to use a Hobbitson heavy build. Let's see as the game progresses. Red seems to occupy the hill at the center, while blue seems to develop their flanks, which is something that every cavalry build players would do. And look at that. At this point, blue also commits their infantry because they are about to charge against reds. Blue has light infantries in the front ranks supported by line infantries. And you might say that okay, but red has the Hobbitson advantage, red has a better position, red has all these units. Well yeah, but look at what's been set loose on the flanks. Blue basically has an uncontested flank on the right, as well as some contestable areas on the left. So even though that red has more units on the center, they will be forced to defend themselves from a possible attack from behind by the cavalry. And that may be just enough, maybe, for blue to win this battle. But let's see how this plays out. Look at that, red played a very great move. They use this tactic where they leave an open gap in front of the Hobbitson, so they can shoot out with the Hobbitson, but then we cannot charge in. However, you can also see how they are forced to commit some of their troops on just defending from possible attacks from blue's cavalry. And look, blue is about to flank red, because red has a lack of units on the left flank. Now they try to bring one unit in, but now the cavalry comes in as a clutch and they will try to pin some of red's units. Look. Now amazingly, blue seems to be breaking at some parts, but when the cavalry comes in, they actually hurt the artilleries, and now the artilleries will slowly turn around, abandoning the front in favor of defending themselves, and this gives a chance to blue's infantry to finish the job at the front. And now they are routing red's infantry on the front, and now there is nothing defending red's artillery from blue's infantry. Look at this battle. And red has lost at this point. This was a classic cavalry battle, where the guy with the cavalry build will just try to force a very quick victory trying to shock the enemy troops into an unfavorable position, and the guy with the superior artillery just cannot do anything about it. And he resigned. Now moving on for the 3v3 battle. These battles are huge, and I just cannot cover them all. So we will only focus on a few places, because essentially these are 3 1v1 matches with some overlaps, pretty much. If I was to cover this match in its entirety, that would be covering 3 separate matches that are also overlapping, but let's get into it. At first, I can already see how blue seems to be having more artillery than red has, and so far as I've seen, if there is a massive difference in artillery between the two sides, the side with the less artillery will end up committing on some crazy charge on the flanks to try to win the battle, because if someone buys a bunch of artillery, they will have to reduce their quality on other troops. And so if we take a deeper glance at this battle, we can see how on the right flank, blue and red seems to be kinda equal, and so they are also equal on the center, but I see a massive difference in their builds on the left. As you know, red has a bunch more cavalry, while blue seem to have brought some more artillery and some more infantry. And I assume that this asymmetry between the fighting forces will make it so that if there is any breakthrough in this battle, that will happen over here. So let's watch the left flank. Now, red is setting up behind the river, while their cavalry moves across the river further south, where they have a nice hill that they could hide behind too, potentially. Now at this time, if I was red, I may have already charged through the river, because as I discussed, cavalry builds usually want to pin the enemy's infantry so that they could do their wonder working. However, red's infantry is rather a bit damaged, and I can understand how they want to buy time for them to be able to come up with an even stronger offense. And that's what we will see over here. Red will end up charging with their infantry, but only a couple turns later once they win this cavalry battle over here. And red destroyed one of blue's artillery. This was the signal, and now red is taking ground across the river with their infantry. Look, red has essentially routed blue's forces on the left. And if you wonder what's going on at the other fronts of this battle, on the right flank blue has an offense, but nothing is really decided over here. But everything is still in the air over here. On the center there seems to be a stalemate, with blue committing some troops at the defense of the left flank, and the left flank just collapsed in favor of red. And look, red will now abuse this gap of power and just take out whatever is up for grabbing. And from this point on, they will just try to sandwich in blue's troops from the two flanks. And surely enough, they have managed to beat off blue's attack on the right, and they have already reached the center with their own troops. At this point, blue has close to no hopes of winning, and they might resign in a few turns, I'm not sure. And there we go. Now surprisingly, ECU played as a blue teammate in this game. He also had Alexander and Duke, all of them are great players, and against them were victorious Saffron, Codes and Inserious. And I believe that the cavalry player must have been Inserious, because he is a well-known cavalry player. Well done, because the cavalry charge won this battle. I actually look forward to more of these 3v3 battles, because from my point of view, these battles are way more interesting than the regular 1v1s. And thankfully, soon these game mode will be added into the game eventually. And if I'm not wrong, the 3v3 game mode along with the other team match game modes, will come out to be a part of the base game at around the 1st of April, I believe.